everyone. I am Kara, and y'all know that I enjoy rom-coms.
Hey y'all, I'm Jaren, and you know that your boy enjoys reverse harems.
But you know what? There is one thing that we both enjoy, and it is the natural charm of being poor.
And this is... Just Kiss Already!
Wowee! Welcome back.
We're back!
Yeah, we are. Right now. We made it. Where did you go, Jaren?
Oh, I went to, Depression Land.
Why would you go back there? We had a terrible time there last time.
I accidentally, instead of buying a one-way ticket back, I bought a round-trip ticket back, so I left, and then I stayed home for a week, and then I had to come back.
Oh my god. That sucks. I'm sorry. Did you bring me a souvenir?
Yeah, I got you some omiyage. It's chill.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, I think I may have outed myself as a huge weeb. Because
yeah, I think you've done that before.
omiyage is souvenirs.
Well, you know what? What we need right now in our time of need is weebs. Because we are watching Ouran High School Host Club, everybody. It's a new series. It's a new day. It's a new cross-dressing drama about a poor person and rich people.
It's the same but different, and you can bet that was on purpose.
Or maybe an accident, because maybe Kara has a type of shows that I like. Because
if we had a nickel for every time we reviewed a show about a poor protagonist who has to cross-dress as a man, we would have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happens twice.
Oh, man. Alright. That's right. We are watching Ouran High School Host Club, a personal favorite of mine, a personal favorite, I think, of everybody's watching back home. Because how can you not love the anime about beautiful, wonderful Haruhi, who is cross-dressing because debt, but also there's just rich boys who are all a little stupid. Just some of them more than others, but at least a little bit in everybody.
Yeah, I'm super stoked to be doing our first anime on this show. This is a good space to be in.
It makes sense. You're a weeb, so you would like it. Alright.
Sad weep noises.
So, it's happy weep noises, because... Is that how they sound, weebs?
That's how this weeb sounds.
Alright. I'm glad. So, for those of you who do not know, Ouran High School Host Club is an anime that aired in 2006, but it is based off of a manga by Bisco Hattori. And, y'all, I don't know if y'all know this, but I kind of like manga. I kind of read it a lot when I was, growing up. So this, actually, is an example of a series that I watched before I read. I think one of the very few that I've done that with. Because I generally will read something and then want to watch it, but I actually watched Ouran first, which is kind of funny. And I'm glad I kind of did, because the manga is much longer, so I kind of got to see, the extra bonus scenes when I read it, which was really nice. Yeah.
It's always really cool to know that, if I enjoy this series enough, I could always go and get those bonus scenes from the manga.
Right? Usually you have to go to fan fiction for that, but no, ma'am. You can
Ooh, we're all outing ourselves on this podcast. This is great.
We are weebs. We are fanfic readers. Nobody has outed themselves as an author yet, but...
Wait for next series.
Yeah, when the next series we watch, we'll divulge more deep secrets. But speaking of firsts, I would love to know, Jaren, you yourself are a weeb, but this is an anime that you have not seen yet. So what was your first anime? What kind of anime are you into?
So this was very recently that I was actually thinking about the answer to this question.
Really?
I had a buried memory of watching a Sailor Moon movie on Toonami at my grandparents' house, and then the next day wanting to play Sailor Moon with the neighborhood kids, and just like
Yes.
me struggling to pitch the concept to them. And like, so like
Oh my
you're
God.
familiar with the Power Rangers and how they are some kind of multicolor fighting force with exaggerated
God.
motions.
Yeah, of course.
I'm like that, but with great hair.
Which Sailor Scout were you?
I wanted to be, it was specifically Sailor Moon movie D, I think. I rewatched it recently online. And I wanted to be Pearl from that, who was just this sort of like very lithe young character with great anime hair who played the flute. And I wanted them to play with me so that I could be Pearl.
Yeah. Of course. I feel like anytime a kid is like, hey, y'all, I have this show that I like and I would like us to play it, it's because you have a specific character in mind that you're trying to be.
Exactly.
Like, I did the same thing with, like, Avatar The Last Airbender. I, like, would visit my cousins and I would be like, hey, y'all, not saying we should do this, but, like, I don't know if y'all have seen Avatar, but, like, what if I was the Avatar, but, like, a girl version?
Very good. Very good.
You know how it goes.
Pulitzer Prize.
Oh, man. I too watched some Sailor Moon when I was very young. I would go to Blockbuster and rent the like DVDs, and like some of them would be like a bunch of episodes on one, and some of them would be like the movies. But yeah, I remember I would just kind of go and I would just look for her, and she'd be somewhere, and I did not watch anything in order, I'm sure, and I probably had no idea what was going on, but I had a great time. But as far as like actually kind of like sitting down and watching an anime, my first anime was actually Ouran High School Host Club.
Ooh.
Yeah, I was over at a friend's house in like middle school. We were having a sleepover, and she was like, hey, do you want to watch something on Netflix? And this was like back when like not everyone had Netflix. Like I was like, whoa, you have this? Like I don't have Netflix. What's that? And she was like, oh, it's like a bunch of movies and stuff, and we can watch stuff on it. And I was like, okay, what should we watch? And she was like, I know. We put Ouran High School Host Club on, and we technically watched or played all of it, I guess, but at some point we fell asleep. And I just remember sometimes like waking up and seeing like random things happen. But I then went home and wanted to watch the actual show, so I ended up watching it by myself. And then that's when I was like, is there a manga for this? And then there was. And I was like, hell yeah! And then I read it all probably in the span of like a couple days. Because I'm a binger. I don't know about y'all.
I'm one of those weirdos who likes to watch it one episode a week on a specific day as though I'm watching it on TV.
Oh, good. I admire your patience. I can't. I get to the end of one and it gets to the blurb that's like, here's what happens next. And I'm like, can't wait to see it. And then I just hit next episode.
Very good.
So I know that you have never watched Ouran like in its entirety, but you do have some Ouran experience, right? You've got a little.
So this was about 7 or 6 years ago now. In early high school, to get volunteer hours for scholarship, I volunteered at my local library, and there was an anime club, and I did run for president, and I did win.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. The way it sort of ran was that people would suggest anime, like 5 or 6 of them, and then we would vote and watch them on the library's Crunchyroll account. So,
love that.
One of the first episodes that we put on was a random episode of Ouran High School Host Club, and like I can't remember anything about it now because I was like back doing volunteer duties and making sure that people were checking in. But I remember the head librarian, a woman who was very sweet to me and helped me get all my volunteer hours, just the least assuming person you can imagine, was like, my favorite is Ouran High School Host Club.
Oh my god. I love that.
It was very funny for me.
Aw, that's so good. I can't even remember a single teacher of mine that expressed any interest in anime, so I love that. We did a similar, one of my friends wanted to start a Doctor Who club, and we were told that we can't have a club that's just about Doctor Who, and so we had to like spin it so it seemed like we were doing something. And would you believe me that the school would not accept a Doctor Who club, but they would accept a Doctor Who fan fiction club?
Oh. Oh, God.
And we didn't even write fan fiction. We just used the name so we could sit in a room and watch Doctor Who on, like, school hours. But I think back to the fact that they said that was okay.
That is massive. That's life-altering.
Yeah, isn't that weird? Anyway, and that's how me and my friends got to watch Doctor Who at school. So, just to clarify, put it all out there, since we're sharing secrets this episode, apparently, I want to let you all know that we are watching, both of us are watching the subbed version of Ouran. But I will say that the dub is very good. I have watched both, and I actually associate the dub version of Haruhi's voice more kind of with Haruhi. It's Caitlin Glass. Very good.
Yes,
very
please.
Good voice actor.
Support both versions. Watch every episode twice and look for fun
Yeah,
differences.
honestly, what are you doing?
You got a job? No, only Ouran.
Got a job? What's Ouran? What are you doing? But anyway, this very first episode is basically like the setup of the plot. Like, the point of this episode, I feel like, is to be like, here we are. Here we go.
It's legitimately just like a very tight pilot. Like, everything you need to know condensed into 22 minutes, and now, like, if you've seen this episode, you can watch any of the other ones and know what's going on.
An incredibly good one at that, because I feel like every time I rewatch Ouran, I get to this episode and I'm like, I knew in the back of my head that I loved Ouran, which is why I'm here watching it again. But god damn it, this show is so good. It's so funny. It's, beautiful, wonderful.
It really did get me pretty hype. Like, there were a couple points in it where I was just like, let's go. And, like, to be fair, I think part of that is probably because they beat Coffee Prince in revealing that the main character is a girl to all the other male protagonists. They do it in the first episode instead of
literally right away. They're like, listen, the whole point, they were like, this isn't a she's hiding from everybody kind of deal. This is a she's hiding with her gang of boys.
She is out here.
The secret is kept from the school, not from the boys.
Yeah,
the boys
lie to the institutions. Respect your bros.
Obviously. I do love, we kind of, like, immediately meet Haruhi, and they just kind of, like, right off the bat are like, here's the kind of person that this character is. Mom, dead. Social status, poor. Stereotype, nerd.
They really give you all the shorthand you need to know exactly her deal.
I think that's my favorite thing, is just, like, the first thing she says is just kind of like, Mom passed away recently, and I'm like, oh.
I love that it's like, I'm just looking for a place to study. These rich kids sure are lazy.
All she wants is to study a little bit, and the rich kids will not let her. But then she wanders into a room with a vase. I wonder if this vase will be important, as it appears in every single scene when the characters are talking, with an arrow pointing to it and a noise to let you know maybe.
I thought that I was getting like an obnoxious pop-up ad for a good minute and a half. I'm like, what is this arrow on my screen? There's no way that they're doing this they're doing it to indicate that the vase is important.
You need to know that the vase is very important, Jaren. How could you figure out that the vase is important if they didn't tell you?
This show is actually just a very modern horror of breaking something you can't afford and just being forced into indentured servitude over it.
Oh my god, yeah. No, it's like, got him. It could happen to you. You too could be a very gender-neutral being who is poor in a land of rich folks and who hits a vase that you should have known was there because it was in front of your eyesight this whole time.
Honestly, like, normally they should have like a rope. They should have had a rope. I have no sympathy for you and your dumb vase.
So we just kind of get, like, thrust into this world. And I think probably maybe one of the most important things about this world is this cast of characters that we are introduced to.
Yes.
You'll come to see that Ouran is a very, like, I shouldn't say slice of life, because whose life are we slicing here?
Oh my god.
But it is, it's a very, like, every day brings its own, like, chaos kind of deal.
Very poetic.
That surrounds around these characters. So let's first off, we got Haruhi, who we know is poor, mom dead, nerd, non-binary icon, pansexual icon. Because Haruhi is like, gender? Who cares? You're a person first. And then even further than that goes to be like, you know what? I feel like as long as I love the person, it's fine. And I'm like, oh my god.
Like, she doesn't even have doubt. She's just, from the jump, is like, this is what I am. This is who I like. Let the games begin.
It's so good. Let the games begin. She's so... There's a scene in this episode, too, where she's so, like, blunt and so just, like, logical. And, like, there's a scene where she's just really wants to describe Tamaki as obnoxious. Yeah. But she sits there being like, what's the right word? Pain in the neck? Oh, that's not quite. Well, maybe it's just annoying, but that's not really as strong as I... while he's, like, ranting. And then she finally is just kind of like, obnoxious. And I was like, oh my god, sitting there for 5 minutes trying to think of the perfect word. Me.
We stan anyone who looks for word with the proper connotation and subtext.
Of course.
To perfectly destroy a man.
Oh, I love her so much. You know what? You gotta love the protagonist to love this show. And Haruhi is a perfect example of someone who you just want to support wholeheartedly.
And the man that she destroys by calling obnoxious is
of course
Tamaki. And he's a natural blonde, which is fantastic.
Yes. Blue eyes.
Body type, Mr. Noodle. Very wiggly.
Very wiggly.
Very rich. And, like, I was expecting to just kind of be like, oh, this is the character who you, like, love to hate kind of thing. And then he has a couple moments where it's like, no, he's got, like, that very, like, old society concept of, like, honor. And as vain as he is, he has that cool line where he's like, well, they say handsomeness won't get washed off with a little bit of water, so I'll help you look for your wallet. And it's like, yeah, bro, help me look for my wallet in the pond.
Get your good boy points.
The stock in GBP rises every day.
Yeah. So he's kind of like the centerpiece of this gaggle of boys. Like, you know, he's always sitting in the middle. He's kind of like the
king.
Yeah, the king. That's right. But surrounding him, we also have Kyoya, who is our wonderful smart glasses archetype.
Yeah, so for some of these side characters, like, they got introduced and then their names kind of came up later, so I was, like, filling in the blanks for a little bit. So for Kyoya, I was like, it's the main character from Haven't You Heard I'm Sakamoto? It's Sakamoto. Guilty until proven Sakamoto.
He is smart. He has glasses. He is also very skinny, but I would say less noodle and more like stick.
Very stiff, yeah. He's like
very
the cool
stiff
archetype. I do enjoy like a boy with a laptop situation.
Very financially motivated. Cares most about money.
Yeah, nobody's perfect.
Believes strongly in capitalism.
Family might own some secret police that did just get thrown out. Yeah.
Just, you know, just a wink wink.
If you ever need to deport some of your school friends, son.
Yikes. Anyway. Next up we have the beloved twins, the two Hikaru and Kaoru, our orange-haired boys.
Yes, and I did think of them as Fred and George Weasley until the names Kaoru and Hikaru were said.
You kinda gotta. They're mischievous twins who are handsome.
It's very fun to hear them talk the same thing at the same time. And then they usually have symmetrical framing when they're on screen. So I'm like, I appreciate this, like, Wes Anderson sort of mirror down the middle of the frame aesthetic.
It's so good. You can tell that they are just here to fuck around and find out. They just want to mess shit up and see what happens. They do not care.
Oh, God.
And then we have the next two characters are, like, also a duo, but I think more individual. So first we have Honey Senpai, which is our small blonde-haired boy who is one of, I think, the oldest characters. I think he is older than Mori. And he's just looks like a toddler.
Everybody calls him Senpai, but for 3 minutes this episode, I called him Momiji.
They do. It's the same energy right there. For all our Fruits Basket fans, shout out. But yeah, Honey and Momiji are like the same energy.
I do love... I feel like you can't have a Honey character without him also being like the Ultimo Senpai, the oldest one.
He has to be. Like, he's gotta be.
You can't go full baby.
You can't go full baby. And Honey has his like partner in crime in the form of Mori Senpai, who is this tall, stoic, silent man.
Yeah, I think he might have been literally silent for most of this episode. I can't remember anything he said.
I don't think he had a line this episode. He does have at least one noise that he makes, which is when Haruhi is like, Mori, help! And he just kind of is like, because he is here to protect, but also attack when needed. He's like the true definition of he protect, but he also attack.
So the anime character that I thought he most resembled until they said his name was Guts from Berserk. So I really hope that he's way different than that. Otherwise, this will be a fun show 6/7 of the time.
I don't know who that is, so I'm not sure what that means. But I know that Mori is great. So very good, very very man of few words, but we love him. And that's kind of like our gaggle of boys, who each kind of represent like a different archetype of boy
Each
that you
boy
can
is
pick.
a seventh deadly sin.
Kind of like we're playing a dating game. You have to romance one boy in particular.
No.
Yeah. If we were playing this dating game, whose route do you think I would go for, Jaren? Who do you think?
I feel like you would go for Tamaki because he has the
Is
biggest...
dumb?
Yeah, what? Yes, all head, no thoughts, but also definitely had the biggest, like, theater kid energy out of all of them that I saw. And I was like, this seems like... He seems like somebody you would play well off of. He'd be a good co-host for a podcast.
Jaren, I would never replace you. Unless it was Mori, because he's actually... I love him. The big, tall, silent man. I think you'll get to know him more, obviously, throughout the series. You only have the first impressions.
Yeah.
I can see why you picked Tamaki, but I just love Mori. I love it.
Alright, if you had to pick who you think my route is...
Let's see. Well, I do know that you love anybody who can pick you up, and Mori...
Oh, it got way too personal, way too fast. Oh, my heart.
So, someone who can pick you up, someone tall enough to climb like a tree, all of these are pointing to Mori. So...
I mean, yeah.
Got him. He's a good choice. I approve, personally. I feel like Mori, best first choice.
Welcome to the Camp Mori podcast, where we evaluate each episode of Ouran based on how much screen time best boy Mori gets.
That's right. If Mori gets a line, then the show automatically gets 5 stars. I love him so much. Oh my god. We are not watching the dub, but I will let you know that Mori's voice in the dub is the same voice actor for Mustang in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Oh.
Yeah, and I remember being like, is that Mori Senpai? When I watched it for the first time with my roommate Emma, I was like, what's going on? Why?
It's very good.
It was so good. I was like, this melodious voice that I love so much from my favorite boy. Who could it be? Alright. So, we've got our gaggle of boys. We've got our main setup of characters. Like I kind of said earlier, Ouran is a very kind of like slice of life kind of show. It's very much like each day brings a new thing that is going to happen and that needs to be dealt with this overarching plot of cross-dressing shenanigans kind of going on. So we tend to encounter like a lot of different themes, and we definitely encounter like a lot of different tropes as well. I think there's kind of like a very obvious, like, play on, look at how many tropes can we mash into this.
For sure.
Like, this episode alone, we get, like, I take off my glasses and I'm suddenly beautiful, and we get, like, all the boy archetypes, and we even will get into the, like, I'm a girl who also likes a boy and I'm jealous, therefore I'm going to be mean to the protagonist for no reason. Like, we'll get into all of that. But some of the so first we kind of talked about, like, we've got this poor rich dichotomy. We've got Haruhi as a normal person living life.
This was something that I immediately drew me in. Like, I grew up not being super well off financially, and, like, not only that, but, like, I got teased a lot for it in school. And so it's always been this, like, central theme of, like, the way the rich people treat the poor, and the way the poor people just kind of, the way they have to exist to fit in. So seeing this protagonist who basically their response to terrible things being done to them by another student is to go, I really thought this wouldn't happen, but, here I am. I've got no choice but to pick up my possessions and go dry them off because I am the poor and they are the rich.
Yeah. Yeah, man, sometimes you can't afford Starbucks. Sometimes you gotta make instant coffee and drink it.
You sure do.
And sometimes you'll drink your instant coffee and a rich man will be like, what is this? Magic liquid juice. And I think my favorite line from this whole episode is the girl who goes, my dad will be angry if he finds out I drink this.
Yes, very good
so
choice. Good. It's literally like the Jack Skellington, like, snow, like, what is this? But it's it's like this? Not What's artisanal this? Coffee that these little rich kids are drinking.
It's the already ground type, right? No, it's instant.
Credit to Tamaki. I do love that he like tries it. He's unafraid. Like, sure, he's fetishizing the commonerness of it, but he's still
the natural
engaging
charm of
with
being
it.
Poor.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, that's true, and I think that'll kind of be a theme that we see, is that even though Tamaki kind of exudes this personality of, like, I am rich and I only know the rich ways, he is still, like, eager to learn about like, other ways of life, even if it often comes off as, like, fetishizing and, like, being like, oh my god, you poor, you have to drink your coffee beans.
You simply don't have enough time in the morning.
But there is still that genuine show of interest and that genuine kind of, like, I want to know what this tastes like that, we don't always see in this kind of dynamic, which is kind of fun to play around with. Also fun to know that normal things that I do in my life, maybe one day I'll meet a very rich person who thinks that they are charming and will then sweep me away.
Hashtag swept.
Hashtag swept. So now we've also got this, like, bullying and jealousy kind of thing, because Haruhi is being just absolutely adored by these boys. They love her. They think she's the best thing that could have walked into this room. They're like, oh my god. Especially Tamaki. He's like, this is the most precious person I've ever met in my entire goddamn life. I'm gonna tell everyone about it.
Yeah.
And some of the girls don't really like that. They're like, I don't think I like that very much. That's what they're saying. Exactly like that.
This was super interesting, like, bullying and jealousy in the context of this episode. Because, like, at its core, a host club is, like, you are paying money for a parasocial relationship on an hourly basis with these employees. And it didn't really get explored much in this episode. It's just sort of, like, the premise given and understood. But watching somebody who was willing to, like, hurt another person's feelings over their parasocial relationship to Tamaki was, like...
Yeah.
I feel like it really painted not a realistic picture, but it painted a just unflattering enough picture of, like, the rich kids at this school that I was like, yeah, you know what? Get her ass. Get her. Like, pour that water on her.
It's kind of sad because that then ended up being, like, the forefront idea, even though the rest of the patrons at this host club are all like, this is great. We love seeing someone fawn over, like, we love these two hosts that are just fawning over each other. We think it's adorable. Meanwhile, there's this one girl who's like, I want attention.
Yeah, I also super appreciated this episode that the thing that made people want to come see Tamaki again, or I'm sorry, not Tamaki, to see Haruhi again at the host club was
Mm-hmm.
that she opened up about her mother and was just like speaking from the heart, and they responded to that. And I thought that was such an interesting way of like not marketing yourself, but like being someone in a host club being genuine instead of like this
Yeah.
seemingly parasocial relationship that you would assume exists from like a weird parasocial personality.
Mm-hmm. The natural, if you will.
Yes,
Her
the
archetype.
natural.
we have all archetypes. We are complete.
Archetypatron.
Fusion commenced. Create the ultimate boy.
It's just Honey on top of Maury's shoulders and one twin hanging on each arm, and he spins at you.
You're right. And Kyoya's just in the background, like with his laptop.
He's ordering a new vase on Amazon.
Yeah. So we also talked about Haruhi as a character is very kind of like lax about her gender, and also very lax about like sexuality, is very much like the fact that you are human and are a person who has their own feelings and their own thoughts is like the most important thing to her, and then everything else kind of comes secondary, which is really interesting because it creates this like, we just watched Coffee Prince where the kind of like dichotomy between gender sometimes got like very poignant, like it was like very important whether or not someone was male or female. But in this show, we've kind of already seen, like, who cares?
Yeah, it felt sometimes like the theme of gender in Coffee Prince was, like, oppressive. It was, like, something that was limiting potential relationships and causing grief. Whereas Haruhi, even at the very end, like, having the changing room curtain thrown open and Tamaki realizing, like, oh, this person's a girl, like, her immediate reaction isn't, like, to be bothered or to be screaming and shouting. She's just like, dude, get out, like, I'm changing in here. And he's like,
yeah,
you're
dude,
a girl?
what the hell?
And she's like, yeah, I guess I just don't like register gender the way other people do, like something to that effect.
Yeah, very much. I think I love the line where she's kind of like, you know what, it was kind of nice just talking to these girls, and they were like, it was, ooh. And I was like, you know what, I kind of feel that. I too sometimes talking to women, and I'm like, it's kind of nice.
Same. I will say I love the uniforms in the show. I feel like Haruhi is the only girl who wears the school uniform well. All the other ones, it just kind of looks dorky on them. But Haruhi works both styles of the uniform very well.
Haruhi kills it in both. Oh my god. They're like polar opposites too. They're not even like the same color scheme, and she's just like, wow, I love her. What an icon. Yeah,
I do love Haruhi as a gender icon. Just there's no fuss, there's no fanfare, there's no I need to hide this subplot. It's like everybody realizes at their own pace, and none of them makes a huge deal out of it. Like, it certainly affects the way Tamaki views Haruhi, but everybody else just sort of continues on to be like, yeah, like, we are working with this person and we've realized that they are female.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very excited to continue kind of watching and see how things go. Because at the end of the day, we are watching a rom-com, so you know what's about to happen.
Yeah, we need that com and that rom on full blast starting
on
episode
full
2.
Blast, up to 11, baby. I do think very similar to... I obviously when I choose a rom-com or a show to watch, there's certain things that I want it to be, which are what keeps me interested. One of them being loving the protagonist is always something that really, like, keys me in. But I do love that, like, very, very healthy balance of rom and com. I do love where it's like, it's not like I'm watching a romance that has some funny moments, or that I'm watching a funny thing that also there's, like, a little bit. Like, I love that we truly have both interlocked together. And then maybe you cry sometimes, but that's not important.
Yeah, this was very strong out of the gate in terms of, like I legitimately laughed at this arrow that was just kind of pointing in this vase that's taking up a third of the screen in shot reverse shot. Like, that's just funny.
They're like, you know what's important? This base, baby. All right, don't pay attention to what they're saying. You don't need to know. You don't need to.
Ooh, and then something wrong that I liked about this for sure. I think they shaded the upper lip black a couple times for a couple of the different girl characters, and I was like, damn, I like that.
Ooh, damn, ooh.
That looks good.
Why is that wrong?
Because I'm romantically interested in the character.
Oh, so you're a Shigo stan?
Oh, for sure.
Oh, good. All right, writing it down. Mori, Shigo, just collecting.
Yeah, you're compiling all the information you have now is going to tell you that my ideal woman is the Jolly Green Giant.
You're so right. Jolly Green Giant. Oh. All right. I have a question for you, Jaren. We have talked a bit about how this is a very trope-heavy show. We're having fun with tropes. I wouldn't say making fun of them. Sometimes, yeah. But also, I think we're just kind of playing around with them, having a good time. So, we've kind of talked about how Coffee Prince. They've become one in my mind. We've talked about how Ouran is a very, each episode kind of brings its own adventure kind of show. So instead of predicting what you think is going to happen, I want to play a little game. Ooh. Where you predict what trope you might see in the next episode.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
So, some tropes we saw this time. The She's All That, where she takes the glasses off.
Yes, of course.
The bitter ex-girlfriend with the princess character.
Yes.
Let's see. If I had to pick a trope, it's too early for memory loss. No.
No, yeah, you can't do that one until well in. We have to be really emotionally invested for that one to work.
Oh boy. Let's. I'm gonna take a page from the Coffee Prince playbook, and I'm gonna say, is there such a trope as a scene where you're frantically trying to keep the secret hidden, but the protagonist doesn't know and also doesn't care very much whether the secret is revealed?
Oh, okay, so Haruhi just vibing, and everybody else no.
Yeah, so Haruhi's gonna be so I'm just gonna dress however now, and then they're gonna be they're not gonna tell her, but they're gonna be holding up screens to block the principal's view. Because for some reason he's not allowing a girl.
Haruhi walks into the girls' bathroom and they aggressively are like, Haruhi, so silly! Ha ha ha! You don't know the difference. You're red-blue colorblind. Obviously, you couldn't see.
They're absolutely going to have to be hiding it from the customers, even though Haruhi's gonna be like they'll talk to me if I'm a girl. We could just talk, and they're like, no, you have to be wearing the blue when you do it.
Yeah. Haruhi's like, what do you mean? I don't shave. And they're like, ha ha ha, Haruhi and her funny jeans.
They're gluing hair to her chin. So we'll call it gender panic. I'm gonna guess the trope for next time is gender panic.
Gender panic. I like that. All right. Well, I guess we shall see. Any last thoughts for our first episode 1, starting it all?
I think this is gonna be great. I popped off twice during this episode. Whenever Tamaki defended Haruhi, and also when Haruhi was like, "Yeah, I'm a boss bitch. I don't care." And I'm really excited for more moments like that to come, and I'm very excited that this show impressed me with its notions of gender, and I'm really looking forward to more moments like that where I'm like, this was ahead of its time.
I do really love Haruhi, you're a girl, and she responds, well, biologically, yes. I'm like,
that was it. That was the line. Only on chromosome.
I mean, the official documents may say that, but
Yeah. But it's so whatever.
I hope. Big energy to anybody who just that hit. I'm glad. I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
All right, well, I guess we will have to see what happens next time in Ouran High School Host Club. Episode 2 coming at you Make sure you view us on YouTube.
Ooh, 4.
Got him. Yeah, I know.
Combo.
I'm. Now I'm popping off. All right. I think that's all we've got for you guys. Thank you so much for listening. We will catch you in the next episode.
Catch you next time.
Mwah, mwah, mwah. Be careful of your. Don't break any vases on your way out, please. They're so expensive.